Pretty girls can't afford to be too nice. It's a harsh, but it's a very important truth to learn before you have all of your energy, all of your power that you have built for yourself stolen. Because one thing that will happen when you start becoming a more beautiful, a more amazing, more prosperous version of yourself is that people will want to steal your energy because they feel entitled to it. But the truth of the universe is that no one is entitled to your energy because there's more than enough energy for everyone. But when you're someone who's grown up in scarcity, you think that whatever it is that you want or desire has to come at the cost of someone else's beauty or abundance. So a lot of people that have scarcity mentalities think that in order for them to become abundant, in order for them to have more, they need to bring someone down. That is why when you are a very, very beautiful woman, or when you're someone who's just, you put more effort into yourself now, because every single woman, every single person have the ability to tune into the most beautiful version of themselves. It is absolutely possible. But when you do start doing that, you will also realize and you will also start noticing that people are going to move more against you. They're going to start to try to call you mean. They're going to start to try to call you immoral. They're going to start to try to call you narcissistic even. And the reason that they want to start calling you all of these names is because they feel threatened by the power that you hold. And you might think, oh, I'm so sorry for this person. They feel terrible. They don't have enough self-worth. They have insecurities. They can't see all of their potential. I should help them. I should help them fulfill their purpose. I should help them become a better version of themselves. No, you should not. Because when you try to help other people out that haven't helped themselves ever, and that actually maybe have been bringing you down, that have been trying to make you feel less than your whole life, maybe you've been a people pleaser towards them, maybe you've been overcompensating, maybe you've even been their therapist. You've been trying to make them feel good about themselves their whole life. Once you have more, they're going to try to take more because now they realize that without them, you actually have the ability to tune into more of yourself because suddenly you're not taking from the little power that you have towards yourself and then pouring that energy into them. And then when you're not pouring it into them, you actually have exponential power to invest into yourself. And they see that. They do not like the fact that you, against all odds, against actually being the people pleaser, because they know that they've made you a people pleaser. They know that they've made you their therapist. They know that they've brought you into certain situations and circumstances that actually did not make you pour into yourself. Maybe they don't know it consciously, but they will know subconsciously. And now, once you're not even in their circumference anymore, when you're not in their vision, they can't get to you. They want to get to you even more because now they feel like they have been cheated. They've been cheated of the energy of the exponential potential that you have, and they feel entitled to that. But the only reason you could actually realize your own potential and the only reason you could actually step into your power was because you retracted your energy. And this is why we go back to the whole, when you're a pretty girl, you cannot be too nice, because people will try to make you nice. They will try to make you moral. But that's because they do not want to do the work for themselves. That's because in order for them to feel happiness, they feel like they need to have someone or someone's energy to bring them up. They do not realize yet that they can actually make themselves happy by themselves. And if you stoop down from all of the progress you've made, you are up here, you're vibrating up here, and you go down to help them out, you will only be taking from yourself. You will only be depleting yourself to make them happier. And it will be much harder for you to actually climb the mountain of the work that you've been doing for yourself again. And eventually, when you start trying to give in to people that are saying you're immoral and saying, oh, I'm not immoral, I'm a good person, I'm a good person, I'm a good person, let me show you how I can help you, I'm a good person. Eventually, it will be too hard for you to walk up that mountain again. the mountain of your growth, the mountain of your beauty, the mountain of the effort you're putting into yourself that keeps appreciating and building and making you a better version of yourself. You won't want to go up that mountain again because it's going to make you burned out, because you realize that every time you try to climb that mountain, you have to go back down because someone's saying that you're immoral for putting yourself first. This is why you cannot afford to be too nice towards people that are close to you or people that want to get close to you when you start leveling up and when you start becoming a better version of yourself. You cannot afford this, because when you become too nice, when you become too moral, that's what they want you to believe you are when you help them out with things that they don't even want to help themselves with. When you become too much of a good person, then they will actually tear every little bit that you've built for yourself down so that you do not have the energy to climb that mountain again. Because you know what happens when you do climb the mountain to your self-growth, to your potential, to see what it is that you deserve to see and have? Then that threatens their existence because they no longer have control of you. They no longer can draw the validation of you telling them that, ooh, I'm a good and moral person, let me tend to you. They can no longer draw upon that energy when you become a better version of yourself and you're no longer in their circumference or whatever you call it. They can't draw on that energy when you rise. You are too far away. That is why they keep shouting at you that you need to calm down, you need to be nice, you are too egoistical, your ego is too big, you're too much of a narcissist now that you only take yourself into consideration. And this is why you have to keep pouring into yourself and not pour into those who keep saying that, oh, everything is so horrible down here, wow, you have it good, can't you help us out? And you might even actually want to help them out of your own goodness and your own will. But the thing is, if you're trying to help people out and every time you help people out, you feel depleted, it is because you do not yet have enough for yourself in order for you to be able to give to others. This is why you cannot afford to be too nice. You have to be a little arrogant. You have to be selfish because it's actually something that protects you on your journey towards becoming better. And when you do reach the top of the mountain, when you do reach everything that you want, you're going to have more than enough to be able to give back. And you're going to be an inspiration because you made it. You took a chance on yourself. You took the risk of putting yourself first and you pursued it to the point where now you have everything that you want. And when you have everything that you want, when you have abundance, when you have more than enough, then you can give back without feeling depleted. But if you actually feel like you need to stoop down, when you feel like you need to be moral and good in order for other people to make you feel okay, if you feel like you need to appear moral, if you feel like you need to appear good, if you feel like you need to appear like a nice saint in other people's eyes, that means you're still dependent on their validation and you still have way to go in your journey towards becoming a better version of yourself. Because every time you stoop down and you try to give other people validation for them to validate you so that you can be like, oh, I'm a good person, that is you taking a step back in your journey, in your growth, in you becoming the best version of yourself. Because ultimately, the goal is for you to be so happy within yourself, for you to supply everything that you truly want in your life to yourself so that you don't feel like you need to get anyone's validation. You can do whatever you want. You can move however you want. And no one is going to be able to take that from you. You giving to other people is not going to take from you. You need to get comfortable with being seen as a mean girl. You need to get comfortable with being seen as someone who's not moral when you do level up, because those around you are going to be mourning the version of you that you were before, the version of you that would help them with everything, the version of you who would put everything that you worked hard on to the side just to make them feel like they're okay. And that's the reason why they don't want to grow. Because you kept validating their existence. You gave them an alibi that they could cling to so they never had to change. So the most moral, the most nice thing you can actually do to make people around you level up and become a better version of themselves while you're still leveling up is to leave them alone. The most moral and nice thing you can do is to take away that validation, not stoop down, not make yourself feel like you need to tell everyone that you're a good and moral person. Because without your validation, they have to either find new validation or they have to grow. They have to go through that uncomfortability of growing. And you you have the space, the time, and the resources to pour into yourself again and again and again, so you grow faster than ever before. So be selfish. Put yourself first.